Perfect. Well, welcome to Melissa's Monday Madness. Today, my guest is Alexandra Marerro, which I really love your last name. That's awesome.
Thank
Um,
you.
so we're going to be talking about what Alexandra does today and just how important her business is to the world. So how about you introduce yourself and then we'll get to some questions.
Hello. So I'm Alexandra, and I am the owner of Restorative Health and Wellness. And I am a psychic coach and healer, and I specialize in gut health. And I empower women to create a mind, body, and soul transformation. And we do that from healing from the inside out, working through finding out specifically what foods are for you, opposed to worrying about the next diet and worrying about like, can I eat that or can I not eat that? And doing like the whole yo-yo thing and just finding out exactly what foods work for you as a unique individual. What gives you energy? What are you digesting? How can we reduce inflammation and maybe help some symptoms that you might be experiencing? And healing like the old wounds and traumas that we've been holding on to for years as well as lifetimes. So a lot of these things will create blockages within our chakras. So what I do is I actually go in there and tell you what they are and clear them and give you supporting work to help that clearing so that we can, in a sense, rewrite your story so you can create the actual life that you desire.
Absolutely. I love that. So let's talk about what it is that you incorporate food and health and wellness, spirituality, all of that. So what made you decide to do all of that kind of combined?
So I guess when I first started, it was all about fitness for me. And it was a way that I started to help heal myself. So I have 3 kids. I have a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And after I had my 2 older children, they're both boys, I was super depressed and I had gained a lot of weight and just did not like myself. Like I didn't like myself. I didn't like what was inside. I didn't like what was outside. And I went through like a pretty bad depression, wouldn't even go clothes shopping, wouldn't look in the mirror, and just had like this serious like self-hate going on. So one day I was like, this has to change because it's just not healthy. So I just started to go to the gym. I'm like, I'm going to the gym. I don't care. And I just committed myself to it. I started working with a personal trainer and he was just extremely motivating and I learned so much. And I was like, oh my God, like I need to make other people feel like this. Like I feel great. I'm feeling good about myself. I feel good. I look good. Other people need to feel the same exact way. So I was like, I'm going to go get my personal training certification. And I did. And then for about 7 years, I worked in the fitness field. I became a CrossFit coach because I really wanted to work with motivated people that wanted to do the work. So I did that for about 5 years. And during that time, I got into holistic lifestyle as well as holistic nutrition. Because although I was working out, I still felt that there was things missing for me. Tired, or if I didn't work out, it was like, I really have to be careful with what I'm eating. So to me, like, I never realized how important food was. So I started really getting into like the whole nutritional aspect of it and learning more about like what foods do to us and how they make us feel. And when I started to learn that, like it was kind of like a light bulb went off. So I'm like, I got to get into this. So I did. And I went and did a holistic lifestyle certification through the Czech Institute. And they had an amazing way of including like chakras and your nutrition and just like your overall well-being in a way that I never realized any of these things affected us the way that they did or even existed. So that just really sparked my interest to keep learning more about it and how I can better help myself, how I can better help my clients, my family. So that actually led me into gut health. And when I had my daughter, I went out on maternity leave from the gym, and I said, I'm going to take this time and be productive. I'm going to do my health and life coaching certification. And I started to work on that. And during that time is when I really started to learn about gut health and how important it is. So once I started learning about that, then it was like the ultimate light bulb went off in my head. And I was just kind of like, wow, integrating this together is going to make a huge change. So once I did it for myself and started to see the changes in my body, in my mood and everything, I started to incorporate it in my oldest son. And the reason I incorporated it with my oldest son is because for about 5 years, he was suffering from seizures. And the doctors and the hospitals and the neurologists never had an answer. Why did they start? What's going on? What's the cause? Nobody knew. And it was basically like, well, if he keeps having them, well, then we're just going to put him on medication. And I'm like, I'm not okay with that, So I was like, screw it. And I started to take matters into my own hand, and I started to incorporate the same work on him. And since then, he had not had a seizure. He's been seizure free for about 2 years now since we started incorporating that. Yeah. So that was like a pretty big turn for me. But it was always still like, I need more. Like, I still have clients that I'm telling to do X, Y, and Z, and maybe they're doing X, if that. Why are we struggling? Like, why is it so difficult, not just for them, but for myself to just say, I'm going to do this and do it and commit to it? And that's really when I started to get into like the whole spiritual aspect of things. And learning about the mind and learning about the chakras and how we hold these energies in, and how food might not be the number one thing for your health, but your energy is. So I started to practice Reiki, and I got my master in crystal Reiki. I got my level 2 in white light Reiki. And once I started to practice that, it was like a floodgate opened up for me with my psychic gifts. And they were something that I had put off for quite some time. When I was a teenager, it was something that I was really, really into. And then, you kind of reach an age where you're like really concerned about what people think. And I really did allow myself to shut that whole world off because I was afraid of what people were going to think of me, and I was going to be the weird girl at school. So I just let it all go. And this past year, I was just really called to start working with energy. And once I did, I remember going to my first Reiki class, I was crying because my soul was just so happy that we were finally doing what we were supposed to do. And ever since then, it was just like putting all of these crazy pieces together because, like I said, we hold on to the traumas that we have from all of our life. And I mean, it could be something so silly as like something that happened when you were like 4 years old. Somebody could have said like, you're ugly, and you, like, the littlest piece of you believes that. So you're going to hold on to it. And now you've created this to become a belief of yours. And this belief of you being ugly, sits with you forever. And you're just not sure, you can have a million people telling you how pretty you are, and you're just not sure why you can't believe it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, obviously it's like that with everything. And I'm like, holy shit. Is this why people don't do things that they know are going to help them? Is this why when I was working at the gym and I'm like, you have to be here 3 times a week and you should be eating this, and they're not doing it because we don't think we're worthy or we don't think we're deserving of having these things from these little traumas that we've experienced over life. So the way I integrate it is by testing people's energy. So I'll channel their energy. I'll test their energy. We'll go through the chakras. We'll see what's open. We'll see what's closed. And when things are closed, we're going to go in there and we're going to find out what exactly those negative emotions are? What are those blocks? Like, what is creating these feelings of not feeling worthy or whatever the specific person has? Because there's so many things, you know?
Absolutely.
So money blocks, love blocks, happiness, everything really is completely affected by that. So I was like, wow, you know, it was something that I really never understood. And I feel like, you know, it's becoming a lot more popular now, and a lot more people are finding out, you know, the true benefit of healthy energy.
Absolutely.
So it's crazy, right? So just integrating it all, because it's, to me, important. Sometimes we can't just do one thing. You know, sometimes we have to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So if, like, I have a client and their goal is to lose like 20 pounds, and they've been struggling for the past 5 years, and they don't know why. They don't know why they continue to eat the way they do. Why do I keep picking up the foods that I know I'm not supposed to have because they don't make me feel good? They don't help me reach my goal. And, you know, these things definitely create kind of like a domino effect. So now these foods create like that mental fog. We don't have the clarity. We're not focused. We don't have the energy. Like, we just don't have that physical energy, you know, waking up in the morning and we're just dragging. And it's like, oh, and all of these things just kind of add to the anxiety. They add to the depression. And for us to be able to know what exactly is creating those blocks for us, to me, is freaking outstanding. I've had so many clients figure out why they have anxiety, why they, you know, continue to pick the wrong type of guy, why in maybe their marriage they feel a specific, how do I say, like a negative feeling that they don't even understand why it exists with their partner. And these things can be coming from past life experiences with that partner. And we don't even know why we're holding on to this emotion. And maybe nothing recently has happened to create it. But for some reason, I fear my husband, or I fear this within our relationship. Why do I feel like he's going to do this to me or to do that to me when he's never shown me that he would do those things? So just by doing like some chakra work and some past life readings, people are able to figure stuff out like that too.
Oh, absolutely.
What in a past life have I done that now in this life affects me not thinking I'm worthy enough to have an abundance of money or whatever? And it's, to me, just amazing when people hear what their blocks are and they're like, oh my God, it makes sense, you know? Mm-hmm. So giving them all the tools that they need to get to their goal, to me, just feels really good to give that to them.
Absolutely.
You know, it's happening a lot faster.
We definitely want our clients to have those tools and have those techniques. Now, I do have a couple questions for you, because I was there on my own awakening journey. And when I started doing the coaching, I always thought that, you know, the negativity was what caused, you know, negativity, because I'm a past life regressionist. I do past life readings, chakra readings, all of that as well.
Awesome.
I focus mainly on the mindset coaching, but now I'm at the point where I teach other people how to open up. Like, I'm a psychic intuitive coach as well. So if people want to open up their intuition, their psychic abilities, I actually teach them how to do that as well. Instead of doing it myself now. But did you actually know that in your current life, it's not just the negative experiences that we go to that can create those negative beliefs, those unaligned beliefs that we have now? Like, I'm a mindset coach, and literally my ideal clients are people who have a successful life, have, you know, are living the life of their dreams, who keep saying, oh, I'm going to achieve X, Y, or Z. They get to X and they're like, okay, well, I'm happy for a moment and then I'm unhappy again, right? And they keep having to put those goals in their way. And I'm not saying that goals aren't good. They're amazing. I love setting goals and intentions. But they'll set those goals only to achieve them, have this great high, and then all of a sudden they're sad again. So my ideal clients are people who are successful, who have the ideal life, but who are suffering in silence because they don't understand why they're unhappy, or they have to keep up this persona that, you know, life is great. I've got this wonderful life. Everybody else thinks I have this wonderful life, but I'm sitting here going, no, I don't, but I can't say anything because you're going to emotionally shame me. You're going to situationally shame me, and they don't talk. But a lot of the time that can come from stuff that's actually positive as well. Like a positive experience you have growing up. You're like, oh, I'm going to be just like that person. You grow up and that's not what you're meant to do, right? You're not feeding your need to feel. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. So for somebody like me who is very intuitive and I know what I'm doing, I know where I need to be going, I know what I need to fix my health. I'm about 70 pounds overweight and I don't look like it. I actually had friends this weekend go, Melissa, you are not 215 pounds, like at all. And I'm like, yeah, I absolutely am. Grab a scale, I'll prove it, right? They're like, no, no way. And, but I eat cheese sauce and I eat con queso and all this other stuff that I really shouldn't.
Because it's yummy.
Like I eat all this good stuff and like I know what I need to do. So for somebody like me who's self-aware, who knows what my blocks are, I have the tools because I teach them as well. I have the tools to fix those blocks and fix those unaligned beliefs, but I choose not to. Like I choose to eat what I want to eat, and maybe I'm not the healthiest person in the world, but I'm happy regardless of, my weight. And so do you think that people can be happy even though they haven't achieved those goals?
Yes. And that's also something that I do work with my clients. So we definitely do transformational coaching and get into like the deeper work of why. And sometimes I'm not doing chakra work on them. I'm having them pull that out themselves.
Yeah.
Like, what is stopping you? Why is it every time you have a choice to pick the donut up or to pick up the salad or whatever, why do you continue to choose the one you know is not going to make you feel good?
Because it tastes better.
It does. But you know what? And I totally get that. But what I teach them is there's always a healthier option for that donut, even if it's like a gluten-free donut. You know what I mean? Something to that extent. So what I do help them find are finding out those foods through like a 2-week cleanse and giving them the opportunity to feel good from that, of eliminating the stuff that they know doesn't make them feel good. Then we actually reintroduce that stuff back into their diet one at a time. So I find that this has helped tremendously, opposed to me saying, Melissa, don't eat the donut.
Yeah.
And you're like, but it just tastes so good. But when we go through such a long time of having these foods that don't make us feel good, we kind of get to a point where the way we feel on a regular basis becomes what our norm is. Yeah. And it's almost like we forget how it feels to feel good.
Yeah.
So to actually have you feel really good and then say, you know what we're going to do today? Now we're going to eat some gluten, or we're going to have some cheese. We're going to pick one of the, top allergen groups that typically give people some kind of a reaction. So we're going to have that today. We'll have a little bit tomorrow. And then they'll eat it. And then they're like, oh my God, this is what's causing me not to sleep. This is what's causing my headaches. This is what's causing my bloating or my difficulty going to the bathroom. And once they actually feel that core symptom that they were not able to feel before, because they're already so inflamed and they're just at their normal feeling of actually not feeling good. But we get to a point where we don't even realize we don't feel good until we feel good.
Yeah.
Right? So then they're like, oh my God, I don't like it. I don't like the way I feel. I like having the clarity. I liked feeling lighter. I liked having this feeling. And I've had a much better success rate for people to stick to eating healthier because of that.
Yeah.
So even with my kids, and you know how kids are hard. I know you have kids. So to tell like your kids, like, you can't have Skittles, they're like, what? You know, like they want to have them. But having gone through that with my kids was really hard. But now, like my younger son, I waited for him because I'm like, he's very difficult. He's a very picky eater. He's very attached to his foods. I know for him, a lot of them are comfort foods. Like my kids have a lot of their own healing that they need to do, you know?
Yeah.
And I know for him, food is like a comfort thing. So I waited, you know? And once I started with him, he started to do the same thing. Like, he's creating his own awareness and now can tell if I ate the wrong food, I don't feel good. And not too long ago, we had ordered dinner out and they delivered pasta, and we ordered gluten-free pasta, and they sent regular pasta by accident. And we didn't notice. The kids started eating, and my son was like, I do not feel good. I don't feel right. I'm very full. Something's wrong. And I was like, okay, let me try your food. And once I tried it, I'm like, okay, I get it. It's gluten. And he was like, I'm not eating it. You know, but to me, it was such a big thing for him to have figured that out. And he's 10.
Yeah.
You know, so even like now going to his friend's house, he'll tell his friend's mom, I can't have that. And he's actually good about it.
Yeah.
I feel like.
What would you suggest to people who are going through, because I know for me, I am addicted to sugar, I'm addicted to carbs, I'm addicted to quite a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't be, again, which I'd lose weight if I cut them all out. I'm also a smoker, so I have a highly addictive personality. I know that, I acknowledge that. What would you say for somebody like me who has that addictive quality, has that addictive personality, and would turn around and say, okay, well, you know, I'm going to have a panic and anxiety getting rid of these things. Obviously, that's a given for me. 2, the attitude, the anger, the aggression that I'm going to feel as I'm going through that cleanse. What would you suggest for somebody going through that?
So for some people, maybe not doing everything at one time. Typically what I do with people, except within that cleanse, is little things. So the cleanse can be kind of intense, but it's for a short period of time and for the specific reasons, because we don't want to cloud any testing with foods.
Yeah.
But knowing, hey, I'm eating too much sugar, or I'm eating too much gluten or whatever, then maybe with some people, we start with one thing and slowly decreasing your sugar intake. And once you feel a little bit more comfortable with that, then we can work on to another food or item. But giving them also something in place of it. So I don't always just say, let's completely remove all these things out, kind of go figure out what you can have instead. I'm going to give you a healthier option. I'm going to say, okay, you really love to eat pasta. Awesome. Get it. Pasta's awesome. Go have some brown rice pasta. You know, go have some treat that's made with honey and sweetened with honey, opposed to processed sugars and gluten and stuff like that. So I also give them recipes, and I give them, you know, a ton of options to what they can do. And it's not about, well, you screwed up, like you ate sugar today. I'm going to help them. Like, why did you? What else is going on in your life? So for me, it's not just about, okay, you ate the food or you didn't eat the food. It's about looking at everything as a whole and saying, well, what else is going on? Are you getting enough fun? Are you going out and like honoring that inner child and having playtime and doing things that you enjoy to do? Are you stressed all the time? Are you having too many salty foods and maybe that's why you're craving something sweet? Are you always at work? You know, what's going on?
Yeah.
And for people to actually say, I don't do anything fun. I don't do anything for myself.
Yeah.
That's like a huge thing where if we're craving something sweet, it's not always about a food thing. But the problem with our cravings is we tend to look at them as more of a nuisance. So what I try to teach people to do is not to look at them as a nuisance, but it's helping you create this extra awareness within yourself where you can stop and say, I really want the donut, but what else is going on in my life right now? Am I really stressed? Am I sleeping? Am I not having fun? And for you to actually stop and look at that and say, I haven't had any fun in like 4 weeks. I'm going to tell you, you need to go block a couple hours out this week and do something for yourself, whether it's go to the beach, go for a massage, go dancing. Like, what do you truly enjoy as an individual? You need to go do that.
That's crazy important.
Helps so much.
So what do you think's more beneficial though in the long run? I know that again with doing that 2-week cleanse, it's a 2-week cleanse, right? 2-week cleanse, it is very intense, but again, for somebody like me who's got an addictive personality, if I don't do the whole thing shebang, it's probably not going to happen. Like I quit smoking a few years ago. I smoke again. Obviously, I went back to it. Stress induced. I went back to it. But I quit smoking for almost 2 years. And when I quit the first time, it was 2 years. Done. I said, okay, I'm not smoking anymore. That was the end of it. I didn't have another cigarette. And I made sure I put myself into positions where other people were smoking. And they would be like, hey, Melissa, do you want a cigarette? And I'd be like, no. And I would feel more empowered at being able to say no than just cutting back, right? So what do you think's more beneficial, doing the 2-week or doing it in increments depending on, you know, how addicted you are?
It really comes down to the individual. And that would really depend on what I'm receiving from that person.
Yeah.
So I also have like a less intense version of it, which is an 8-week thing where we concentrate more on healing the gut. And it's not as strict. So there are certain things in the 14-day that you can't have, but you can have in the 8-week. So for some people, it's a little bit more beneficial that way, where it's a little bit of a longer process. It's not so intense. And they're also receiving more coaching during that time. They're receiving some energy work during that time. And they're also not just looking at the food, but they have the opportunity to look at other things in their life. You know, let's learn how stress management works for you. Are you doing anything to manage your stress? Or are you just kind of like coming home and watching TV and thinking that's relieving it for you? Yeah. Or if you think the cigarette is relieving it for you. So learning certain ways for them as an individual to release that stress, you know, teaching them how to meditate, teaching them how to practice that mindfulness, teaching them to be in that moment now, because we're always worried about what happened before, what's going to happen later. And we get scared about things that might never happen. We get scared about things that we can't control. So teaching them that too, like sometimes we have to kind of release and give things to the universe and say, I am supported. You know, I don't have to be fearful of everything. So teaching them those aspects too make a huge difference. And when we are managing our stress, we tend to make clearer choices, and when we are eating the right foods, we're going to make clearer choices because we're going to have more focus. Our brain is going to work better. So the brain and the body have that connection when that inflammation is down. When that inflammation is up and we're inflamed, our brain and our gut have this disconnection where they're not properly communicating with each other. So we might not realize that we are full and we overeat. We feel so crappy, so we just make crappy decisions and we just eat the quick, crappy food we know continues to add. And then just teaching them easier shortcuts of eating healthier foods. Like, okay, sometimes I don't want to cook. Maybe I'm going to run to the store and grab a chicken that's pre-cooked. Or if I order food and I'm like, what the hell, I'm going to have pizza today. I'm going to have a gluten-free pizza where I don't feel as crappy from it. Or stuff like that, where it's not about being, deprived and not about enjoying your foods and completely taking away all the food that you enjoy. It's just about really finding a healthier version of that food that doesn't leave you feeling like crap. Yeah. So you can enjoy it. You can digest it. You can keep that mental focus, that clarity, that energy, and feel good. And feel good inside, feel good outside, and just keeping that all together.
Absolutely. So who is your ideal client?
I would say my ideal client is a woman that wants to be the best version of her and wants to give that to her family. A lot of the women I work with are moms and entrepreneurs. So I guess you would say like my ideal client is an entrepreneurial mom that wants to feel good so she can perform her job, her business, and create that life that she really just desires,
Absolutely. Well, that is amazing. That was quite a lot of content, quite a lot of value. Do you have anything going on that you'd like people to know about? Anything that's coming up? Or everybody who does watch this video, there will be links to Alexandra's website on my website for you to go and take a look at her stuff. So what do you got going on lately?
What do I have going on lately? I have a membership tribe that I am in the works of creating. So the membership tribe will be on Facebook. It'll allow you to receive a monthly healing as well as some group work within the tribe at a reasonable rate. The details aren't all set in stone yet, so I'm not going to throw out any numbers for it to change. But I will be posting up all the details about the membership tribe soon. For my local people in Central New Jersey, I am also collaborating with a yoga studio in Freehold. So I will be also offering services at Elements of Yoga, and we will be incorporating a lot of the work that I'm doing within their studio for people, in the area. But for people that aren't in the area, I also have like a free Facebook group, which is called Club Restore on Facebook. And in there, I have like a ton of free stuff as well. So free readings or group healings and stuff like that I'll do within there, card pulls and whatnot. And my new 3-month VIP package is coming up as well to help my entrepreneurial moms really just create the life that they desire, where they receive energy work and the coaching and everything included in there.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much. My internet is going wonky now, so I might as well sign off. Before we get cut off, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you had a good time. I know that it's just a Facebook interview series, but you know what? You get a lot of information off of it. So thank you again for joining me. I'll let you say goodbye, and then we will end it.
Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. Really, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you guys probably next Monday. Bye.